Welcome, everyone, to the Tech Chaplaincy Institute's one-year celebration. We are so grateful to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining, and we are thrilled to see you all here and look forward to sharing some wonderful things we have in store for you. So, gearing up for our celebration. Okay, so let's start with a grounding moment to center ourselves and bring us to the present space. I invite you to take a deep breath, the deepest breath perhaps that you've taken today, in and out, and then I will welcome us back. Okay, welcome back. So today is Juneteenth. Today commemorates the day on June 19th, 1865, when enslaved people in Texas finally found out almost 2.5 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation that they were free. Juneteenth, short for June 19th, became a federal holiday this year. Today is also special for another reason. Today is also my grandmother's 72nd birthday. So happy birthday to my grandma Elaine. She was born on Juneteenth, on Father's Day, one of triplets. So I send her happy birthday wishes. I called her this morning. She stayed up all night making brisket, which is so my grandma. I love it. I wish I was there to enjoy it with her. Okay, so our journey today, we're going to start with introductions or reintroductions if you're not familiar with myself and Javon, who are the tech chaplains of the Tech Chaplaincy Institute. We'll have a brief history of the Tech Chaplaincy Institute, followed by a testimonial from Kenji Kuromitsu of the Evolving Faith Conference. We'll then shift into some highlights from our first year, followed by a testimonial from Karen Miles of the Diocese of California. We'll share our plans for the future. We'll have a few fun and games, and then we'll have an opening Q&A. So first, let's start with reintroductions. So the Tech Chaplaincy Institute has two tech chaplains, myself and Javon Bracey. Together, we've served over 50 faith communities, mission-driven organizations, and leaders since our launch. Here's a little bit more about Javon.
Hey everybody, my name is Javon Bracey, as Shamika said. I was born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm a graduate of Xavier University of Louisiana and Isla School of Theology, where I received my MDiv. Lately, I've been referring to myself as a freelance minister. So I work with several faith-based organizations and projects here in the Denver area, as well as nationally. I met Shamika last year through mutual seminary connections. And after several really wonderful conversations, just kind of getting to know each other, I came aboard to the Tech Chaplaincy Institute last spring. And then we had our launch last summer, last Juneteenth. And so I've been supporting the organization and working with the organization since then. So in addition to providing direct support to our wonderful clients, I help to manage our digital presence, which I will talk a little bit more about later. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. So I'll kick it back to Shamika.
Thank you so much, Javon. So a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in San Antonio, Texas, the oldest of 4 children. I went to the 3rd largest high school in Texas, Judson Senior High, and then went to Stanford University in California, where I majored in African and African American studies. A year of service with AmeriCorps took me to New York City, where I ended up staying for 8 years. During my time there, I was a customer happiness associate with Baked by Melissa's. I got a Master of Divinity from Union Theological Seminary in the city of New York. And I'll talk a little bit more about my time there when I go into the history of the Tech Chaplaincy Institute. And then I applied to and then was accepted into the Information Science doctoral program here at the University of Colorado at Boulder, where I just completed my second of 5 years, where I studied technology ethics and social justice issues. And now a brief history of the Tech Chaplaincy Institute. So the Tech Chaplain aims to train and equip mission-driven leaders, organizations, and communities with everyday digital and technological skills, which will serve to help further their work in the world. The Tech Chaplaincy Institute was founded on Juneteenth 2020 as an organization to help build healthy relationships with technology, but its history goes back even further. As a student at Union Theological Seminary in the city of New York, I began my first year in the Master Divinity program helping other students set up their email or their new computer. Soon, I got a reputation for being the go-to person for tech help. Eventually, so many people were coming to me asking for help, I went to the IT department to ask them if they could do drop-in hours. The director of IT, Donald Joshua, said the best thing he could have said, which was no, but we could pay you to keep doing what you're doing. So in my second semester, I started serving other students officially. In a conversation with adjunct professor Reverend Gregory Horn shortly thereafter, he remarked that the way I was helping students sounded like chaplaincy. I was practicing a ministry of presence with people and ushering them through difficult moments with dignity and grace. That's where the name of Tech Chaplaincy was born. It would take a few years before I would start the organization with which I would serve other people as a tech chaplain, but I am grateful for that journey nonetheless. And now we're going to hear from Kenji Kuramitsu, who has helped lead the spiritual care team of 2020's Evolving Faith Conference.
Hi, everyone. Shamika and Javon, thanks so much for inviting me to share a little bit about the experience of working with the Tech Chaplaincy Institute for the Evolving Faith Conference in 2020. So for my testimonial, I love that you all came up with testimonial, by the way. What I want to testify to about your service is that our conference as a whole, and just to give a little bit of context, we are a gathering for folks who are looking for alternative expressions of Christian faith, maybe for folks who have been wounded or hurt or felt ostracized of traditional expressions of religion. The Evolving Faith Conference has sort of been a hub, and I think a really generative place to explore what it means to be a Christian in this moment today. And our conference had to evolve in some ways of our own as the coronavirus pandemic descended, and as the in-person gathering of several thousand people that we had planned was folded and transitioned into trying to think through how we could make an offering that was online, that was virtual. And for my role with the conference, how we could continue to offer spiritual care through a team of chaplains, pastoral counselors, spiritual directors, volunteers, as well as folks who were generous with their time to offer to virtual attendees and guests of our conference encounters of listening, of presence, of processing kind of faith and distressing material, and just offering a level of support for attendees of our conference that we thought would make it the kind of space that we were proud of being able to host. And I have a background in healthcare chaplaincy, but hospitals, I think, are not the only places that need the kind of spiritual care that chaplains can provide. And as I was trying to figure out how to convene a team and offer these services virtually, and feeling quite anxious about that prospect myself, it was the support of tech chaplains like Shamika and Javon who helped us to be able to turn our own dials of anxiety and worry down enough to be able to be present and serve the communities that we were hoping to serve. So practically that looked like the Tech Chaplaincy Institute team offering my team of chaplains, pastoral care, tech support, guidance and navigating different virtual platforms, joining us for our trainings and orientations, putting together guides to help our team members access different forms of technology in a way that we thought would allow us to be spiritually present and attuned to guests at the conference. The Tech Chaplaincy Institute brought a special attention to issues of disability, accessibility, diversity and inclusion that we thought also reflected our values as a conference. And I will just never forget the experience of jumping into a Zoom meeting at a time when the language of Zoom meetings was still fresh, the language of you're muted or your signal's broken up, or I'll put that in the chat, and to have our nerves met with the steady calm and confidence of the Tech Chaplaincy Institute team to start meetings with a moment of taking a breath and of getting grounded and of helping us to do the work that we wanted to do. Just wanted to give a shout out to all of the important work that the Tech Chaplaincy Institute is doing, and a deep thank you for the partnership with us with the Evolving Faith Conference, particularly in this moment now of techno cynicism and excesses and fears about the future. It feels more important than ever to have services and ministries like the work that you all are doing. So happy 1-year anniversary, happy first birthday, and wishing you many more years with much gratitude.
Thank you so much, Kenji. We certainly appreciated the journey with you all as well. It was so wonderful. Thank you. And now I'm going to turn it over to Javon to walk us through some highlights from our first year.
All right. So, as I shared, I, in part, contribute to our work by managing our digital presence. So we are present on all of these platforms. So if you're not already connected with us, following us, liking, all that kind of stuff, please feel free to do so. As the links, not the links, well, the names are here. And actually, Shamika has the link tree in the chat as well as in the description of the video. And so all of our links to our social media platforms are there as well. So one of the things that we did this year was we ran a series called Tech Tuesdays. And so we gave tips regarding hardware and software. So you see here everything from a simple ring light that helps to change the aesthetics of a space as you're recording or live streaming, to OBS and other things that are a little bit more technical. So the post just kind of gave a general overview, recommendations for use, asked and answered questions in the comments as they came. And we were able to engage people regarding technology in a time where people were sort of having to speedily change their technological setups to engage their faith communities. Another thing we did was just sharing inspiration. So here you see some of the quotes and questions that we posted in hopes of spreading joy and also just intrigue and inspiration. Additionally, we did a couple of Trailblazer celebrations, specifically during Black History Month in February and Women's History Month in March. So we honored the contributions of notable people, some of whom you see here, in various STEM-related fields, just highlighting their life and their legacy and their contributions to the world. Lastly, we celebrated with partners. So whether it was live on social media with a conversation or a podcast or a panel discussion, we enjoy being in conversation with other like-minded people and other like-minded organizations about various topics related to ministry, technology specific to faith-based communities and things of that nature. And so again, all of that stuff is still archived on our social media platforms, so you are welcome to go back and see that. And we hope to, in the future, continue to do some of those things and even more on our digital presence journey.
And speaking of journeys, tech chaplains have journeyed alongside people and organizations to help them with their technology. In our first year, we've journeyed with over 60 mission-driven organizations and individuals, including over 30 different faith communities within the Diocese of California. We've helped folks update their website, choose and learn church planning software and other software, get started with live streaming, troubleshoot issues with email, and more. You've already heard from one of our treasured journeys, and now it's time to hear another testimonial. Here to speak with us today to share their testimonial is Karen Miles, Associate for Faith Formation with the Diocese of California. So we're going to take a moment to thank you again for joining us and give you an opportunity to share your testimonial.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be here. I'm so glad to be able to speak about what you have done for and with our ministries. We have almost 80 congregations in the diocese. And as Kenji so beautifully highlighted, your ability to calmly walk people through a very stressful situation, even under non-pandemic circumstances, reminded me of the time I fed a latte to my laptop. And when I took it into the store to find out how bad it was, the gentleman behind the counter grabbed a box of Kleenex before he came to talk to me. That's how I knew it was bad, but he was already ready with the pastoral and emotional support. And that was such a necessary part of tech support. The three big things that I sort of take away and think of with the vitality of the Tech Chaplaincy Institute is our ability to say, I don't know. It's such a terrifying phrase and it's hard to say, but in the past year and a half of all of us jumping into something we don't know, to have trained pastoral care alongside of technical support made it so much easier for us to be able to move forward and move into the new. Being able to also say, I need help. Again, in a time and in ministry where we are sometimes afraid to say, I can't do this by myself. We're expected to be able to pull magical things out of magical hats. Being able to say, I can't do this, but I know someone who can. Being able to offer help without having to ask for it as well. Just say, this is here if you need it. This is here for you. And it removes that shame boundary of not knowing and not being able to do it yourself, being able to just say, hey, everybody's got this ability. And the third thing that I think is also important to mention today of all days is the intentionality of the diversity that we are looking for in the Diocese of California. One of my favorite follows on Twitter is Karen Attia, who's a columnist with the Washington Post. And about a year ago, like I pinned it, screenshotted this tweet, and I've posted it multiple times. She said, diversity is a means, not an end. Diversity without empowerment is tokenization. So hiring the Tech Chaplaincy Institute for us wasn't just about checking a diversity box. It's important to us to lift up, support, and empower Black female leadership as we move into the church that we are becoming, or we hope to become, to have that, again, not just as a look at what we've done, but as folks who are leading us into what we would hope to be in the future. And as we're transitioning back to some hybrid things, to really have them holding our hand and walking us through that door into the hybrid church is exciting, terrifying, excitifying. We're very, 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 very blessed to have Javon and Shamika walking us through that.
Thank you so much, Karen, for sharing that. We really appreciate the journey with you all as well. So thank you. So now we look ahead. We look toward the future and our plans for the future. So I'm going to be sharing our ideas and our goals and our dreams for the coming years. The first of which is 100 journeys. So when we launched, we set a goal of creating or updating 100 websites. But after a year of journeying with people, we realized that there was so much more to tech chaplaincy than just websites. We want to shift our focus to journeying with 100 different people or organizations in our first 5 years. And as you've heard us say, we were well on our way toward that goal. We want to focus on the journeys because that's where tech chaplaincy really shines, is the different ways that we can meet people in crisis with their technology or who want to improve their relationship with their technology and need a tech chaplain to help them. So we want to focus on those first 100 journeys to make sure that those first 100 journeys are everything they can be and more. The next thing that we have our sights on is bringing back the Tech Chaplain check-ins. So shortly after our launch last year, we did a monthly check-in on our Facebook page. Each month, we focused on a different topic that we noticed our clients were bringing up, such as what needs to go on a website or how to get started with live streaming. We discontinued the check-ins at the beginning of 2021, but we now have our sights on bringing back the Tech Chaplain check-ins using the upcoming Zoom events platform. If you have topics or tech questions you would like to see us address in our check-ins, please let us know. Reach out to us on our social media sites, or you can email us directly. I'm Shamika at techchaplain.com, and Javon is Javon at techchaplain.com. And we'd be more than happy to hear your thoughts on that.
All right, so now we're gonna play a trivia game. There are 10 questions and they are multiple choice. And so for those of you on Zoom, feel free to drop your guess, your educated guess into the chat. For those of you who are watching on Facebook, feel free to drop it into the comments. We'll give a few seconds. I'll read the question as well as the answer choices, give you a few seconds to think about it and answer. And yeah, we just want everybody who is here to participate, just to have fun. Hopefully you get to learn a little something new. You ready? Everybody ready?
Ready.
Okay. So our first question, what is the number 2 most visited website on the internet? Is it A, Zoom, B, YouTube, C, Google?
All right, so we don't have any comments yet on Facebook, but I think people are really excited to hear what the answer is.
Okay, so we have C, C, B, B. Okay, the answer is B, YouTube. YouTube is the second most visited website on the internet. All right, question number 2. What is the number 1 most visited website on the internet? Is it A, Zoom, B, YouTube, or C, Google? All right, we have some answers rolling in.
All right, yep, I think we're ready.
All right, the answer is C, Google. All right, question number 3. True or false? With 2.74 billion monthly users, Facebook is the largest social media platform.
Bless you, Kidji.
All right, the answer to question number 3 is true. Facebook is the largest social media platform, 2.74 billion monthly users. All right, number 4. How many computer languages are currently in use? Is it A, 2,000, B, 5,000, C, 50, or D, 15? How many computer languages are currently in use? All right, the answers are rolling in.
Who's right?
Don't have consensus.
Yeah.
Okay, the answer is 2,000. There are approximately 2,000 computer languages currently in use.
Amazing.
All right, we are halfway through. How many times was the Zoom mobile app downloaded in 2020? A, 1 million, B, 36 million, C, 288 million, or D, 485 million. I think I might have downloaded and re-downloaded it 1 million times myself, honestly, on all of my devices. 1 million, 36 million, 288 million, 485 million. Okay. Another set of multiple answers.
Yes.
D, 485 million times. The Zoom mobile app. And think about it, that's just the Zoom mobile app, where people are using it on desktops and things like that as well.
Yes.
All right. Number 6, email spam was named after canned meat. True or false?
We have a few responses.
The answer is true. So spam and a Monty Python skit and a couple of other things contributed to unwanted, chronic messages from random people being named spam. Question number 7. As of January 2021, what percentage of the world's population is online? A, 100%, B, 78%, C, 59%.
Okay.
All right.
Few answers here.
So the answer is C, 59%. And I think just to make a quick note here, in addition to this just being an interesting fact, it also brings up a point about equity, right? And that's something that absolutely came up during the pandemic in terms of who has access to internet, who's able to engage along the lines of socioeconomics, as well as age and other ability and other factors. So in addition to this being a cool fact, sometimes it can feel like, in our bubbles, 100% of people are online. But the reality is, across the globe, there are many people for many reasons who don't have access. Number 8, the average internet user spends how much time on the internet on a daily basis? A, 10 hours and 16 minutes, B, 6 hours and 42 minutes, C, 3 hours and 28 minutes. All right, the answer is B, 6 hours and 42 minutes. I cannot even imagine a life without the internet anymore. So we spend much of our day on the internet. All right, we are almost done. 2 more questions. The QWERTY keyboard was designed to slow down your typing speed. True or false? All right, the answer is true. So alphabetically, the keys in the row would sometimes get stuck. So they were put in this order based on frequency of use to assist with the keys not getting stuck anymore and to give a different pace to our typing speed. Thank you, Mavis Beacon teaches typing. All right, and our last question, how many websites are created every minute? A, 570, B, 394, C, 1,256. All right. 570 websites are created every minute. All right, that is the end of our trivia. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new and gained some perspective on some old things. So Shamik, I'm gonna kick it back to you.
Thank you so much. So, and thank you all for playing. That was very exciting to watch. So we want to open the floor for Q&A for both folks here on the call or folks that are watching on our Facebook page. So feel free to drop in questions that you have about the Tech Chaplaincy Institute or Tech Chaplains, and we'll spend a few moments answering those before we wrap up for today. Okay, so we have a question from Kyle. Thank you, Kyle. It's curious if we've heard about creative ways of including online participants in hybrid worship. So that is an excellent question, Kyle. I know that a lot of ways that people are bringing folks from the virtual congregation into the physical space are continuing to have them do the readings, and some ways that folks are thinking about doing hybrid services is setting up screens so that the people who are on Zoom, for example, can be seen by the people in the physical space, and the people in the physical space can then hear and see the people on Zoom, and the people on Zoom can hear and see the physical space. I think in terms of other ways to bring people in to a hybrid service.
If I could add one thing,
Yes.
I could add one thing. Don't discount the ingenuity of the people who are participating. And so this may be a question you could ask to your congregation, to your fellowship, to your community. You know, what are ways that you would like to continue to be engaged? What would be helpful for you and engaging for you? What would help to ensure that you are having a meaningful experience? How can we facilitate that for you? So in addition to what Shamika offered in terms of ways that other people are kind of are already doing that, there may be some ways that your community is already thinking about, or ways that they've seen that they can share to make the experience more robust.
Absolutely. Thank you, Javon. And thank you, Kyle, for the question. We'll give folks another moment to type in their questions. And as you all are doing so, we want to thank you for joining us in this celebration. We have our link tree in the chat for the video, as well as listed here. The link tree has links to our website, our social media, as well as our newsletter. So feel free to subscribe to our newsletter and get more information from us once a month on what's happening with us, what's happening with our journeys, and different ways that we can help you and your organization with your technology.
And as Shamika mentioned previously, we are live on Facebook for those of us who are on Zoom right now. So if you have a Facebook page, or if you administer a Facebook page for an organization and you want to share this video, please feel free to do that. And if for no other reason, so that we can give out those raffle prizes to folks who are participating, we can increase engagement in that way. So definitely share this video. It'll still be on our Facebook page, and hearing the experiences of Karen and Kenji, I think, are extremely helpful in terms of contextualizing how we can be of support to you and your organization and your community.
Absolutely. Thank you, Javon. Yes. All right. If all hearts and minds are clear, what we can do is invite folks, if you come across this video after today's celebration and you still have questions for us or comments, please feel free to leave them in the chat on the Facebook page, and we'll be more than happy to respond to them. You can also use our link tree to reach out to us and find us on the internet and in other spaces in the digital space. So please feel free to use that Linktree link. I would also like to thank both Kenji and Karen for sharing their testimonials today. We've truly enjoyed the journey with you all and look forward to journeying alongside others. So if you or someone you know would love to talk with and work with and journey alongside a tech chaplain, please feel free to reach out to us as well and share this story with others who you think would be helped by a tech chaplain. So thank you so much for joining. Thanks to Javon for running the slides today and running the game as well. And we will leave you all to the rest of your Juneteenth to celebrate and enjoy. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you all next year. Bye.